What's up and good morning, guys. Welcome back to another video. It is it's a little chilly out here this morning. We've got the pups. Say hi, Gunner. Say hi to everybody. Good to see you. Good morning. Good morning. And we've got the horse, of course. How are you? You ready to get to work? I am not ready to get to work, but today's a big day. Big day for the Rhino Ranch custom modern shed project. We actually have the lathers and the stucco guys on their way, and there's some early morning guys. Rhino, not so much an early morning guy, but I gotta be an even earlier morning guy because I totally forgot I never fully screwed off or nailed off the OSB up underneath the soffits there. And well, we're gonna be stuccoing that. So we need to get some securement there. You can see it sagging a little bit right there because I just never went through and fully screwed that off. And it didn't hit me until about 5:30 this morning. So here we are. All right, you guys, so the stucco guys have shown up. We are, well, you can see they're taping off all of the windows. This is, things are gonna start moving pretty quick now. We've got the drip screed going down on the bottom. This is the little part where, if any water gets down there, it has a spot to go and kind of drip off. Are you Mike's son? Yeah. Mike Jr.? Something like that. Something like that? All right. You guys may remember Mike. Mike came out and did all the patching on the guest house. He was a big hit on YouTube. Everybody likes your dad. he's a character. Last time oh yeah, I think I did meet you. I was way smaller than those. Yeah. How old are you now? 19. 19? All right. Are we gonna do this for our career, or are you just trying this out? Yeah, maybe, yeah. Okay. I mean, you're already, let's see, you were here at 7, you're at the material yard at 6, you're already doing more than most kids your age. So, right on, bro, right on. Alrighty guys, so you can see we now have all of the black paper on, and then again, like we talked about with waterproofing, with the flashing on the windows, you start at the bottom, you shingle, you layer your way up. Then they come in and they put their lath or the chicken wire here, and that is what helps the mud to grab onto the building. It is all stapled on, as you can see right there. Now they're using a different lath when it comes to the overhangs there on the soffits or the eaves, and it's a little bit tighter of a mesh, and I believe that is because, well, now you're hanging upside down and it needs more bite than whereas this stuff, a lot of the weight, I believe, is just kind of transferred down, so it doesn't need quite as much bite onto the wall. But up underneath right here, you'll see when he goes to do that, I'll show you guys the different style of lath that they use for underside things like that. And I got to give a shout out to Mike's son. That kid has been making supply runs all dang day. Showed up in the morning, got all the supplies to help this guy start lathing.
ran back, got the mixer. You can see the mixer right there. I offered to use my mixer, but they prefer their style of mixer. Then he ran and got the sand, and it's just like this kid's been running around all day, you know. So also, you might hear this compressor. I mean, well, you can't miss the compressor running in the background. Chris actually came over and we diagnosed this outlet that we talked about a long time ago, and turns out it was actually the outlet itself that was bad, so we swapped that out, and now we got power back over here. So I don't need an exterior outlet on the shed. I know a lot of people talked about me putting one on there, but I think we're gonna work out without one. Plus, we'll have some right inside the door if we ever need one, you know, 6 feet from this existing one. Well, this is how far the lathers got. They still need to put corner bead on. You see where they switched over to the finer mesh to go up underneath the lid and then to do that front face there. You know, it's a small building, but there's a lot of corners and there's a lot of windows. So, and being up underneath the lid like that, that takes a lot of time, especially when they had to cut out for each one of those light holes that we put in. So that was as far as they got, and then we had 2 days of rain in between when we started filming this video and now. So Mike is on his way here. He should be here any minute. I'm assuming we're gonna finish off the lathing, and then we've got the mixer here. They've got all their sand over there. He's gonna start putting his scratch coat on. And Mike is very fast, but hopefully he gets a lot done today because, well, tomorrow we got rain again. Bro, I think you've gotten like 4 lifespans out of this truck.
No, it's got 2 motors in it for sure.
Jeez.
Sure, it blew up on me again coming from, I was working in Parker, Arizona.
Dang, Mike, you'd have been right at home using our mixer. We gotta do the same thing.
Jeez, look at that.
It's probably the same engine.
Yeah, I actually took it out of here.
Oh no, mine don't smoke that much.
Oh yeah, come on.
So you guys can see Mike is opting for his own mix here.
So we've got sand, plastic cement, and is that it going into that?
This is the money maker, iYing. It's the only thing that allows you to scratch and brown it and color it in the same day.
Okay.
Very expensive, but jobs that are small or far away, perfect.
Well, these boys ain't wasting no time.
Shoot, I went inside for like 10 minutes and y'all already, shoot, we almost got the whole lid done.
Mike don't mess around. Every time he's ever come out here and done anything for me is quick.
Appreciate that. I tried to.
Yeah.
When it has to tilt to the side, it's on. All the way around.
I noticed that. We got some wrap going, and you know.
No, that's actually a Tijuana. That's Mexican.
Oh, there you go.
That compita? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Booty's on fire. Look at it.
There you go. There you go.
Now you guys have heard me talk about in construction, just like many things in life, there are layers, right? You start with your concrete, then you get your rough framing, and there's a reason they call it rough framing. But as you go down the line in the process, things get more and more refined. You get your rough framing, then you get your drywallers that come in and they can kind of float out some of the wonkiness in some of the rough framing. Then you get your finished carpenters that come in and they can kind of float out some of the wonkiness in the drywall. And eventually you get a halfway decent product depending on the quality of builder. The same thing with this. So obviously I did my rough framing.
And these guys come in, they do their wire, but they also put on this corner bead. And you can kind of see what these pieces look like. That wraps that corner. We have it up there as well.
And that gives them a nice straight defined edge on the corner of the stucco work here.
You can see that they just run their mud right up to it on both sides, and instead of if the framing kind of does some weird wonkiness,
they're not having to fight that. Instead they just go to their corner bead, put it on nice and straight, and then we get nice defined corners and edges, especially important up here where we're doing the soffits. And then you'll see as they go down the line here and they start putting more mud on, and they'll float the walls, and what that does is that, again, that kind of takes out any wonkiness that's probably in my framing, and it gets it back to pretty straight. Obviously nothing's perfect, but it'll get it pretty good. But you can see these guys just burn through a ton of mud. That's why it's beneficial to just bring in the sand in bulk instead of trying to like mix bags of stucco. That's how we normally do it when we're doing little walls and stuff like that, is we'll just mix bags of pre-mixed stucco, similar to buying pre-mixed bags of concrete. But when they're burning through this much, if you have all of the sand in bulk, all you need to do is then add smaller bags of whatever you're using, right? The plastic cement, you don't add that much compared to the amount of sand that you're using, and so on and so forth.
Cleanest trade in the world.
You know, I saw Mike plasticking off as much as they're plasticking off this morning, and I was gonna be like, bro, it's not that serious, man. It's not gonna get that bad. But
yeah, you can see this is probably 8 to 10 feet from the mixer, and Yeah, we got some stucco splattered everywhere. Plastic and tarps are your guys' friends, huh?
Masking and clean. Masking is a lot easier than cleaning, that's for sure.
There you go.
Now you guys can see why we didn't do the roof first. A lot of people were kind of freaking out about me wanting to do the roof.
Well, I knew we were going to be stuccoing the fascia here, and at that point you want the metal of the roof to come over the top of the stucco, not vice versa. So I've held off on doing the roof until we got this part done.
Now again, you guys can see just the amount of mud that is going on this structure here. Quite a bit. They burned through a ton of mud.
So what's the difference between a scratch and a brown coat?
This is actually the scratch coat right here. Normally this would be a 3-step process, so we scratch it one day, we brown it the next day, and we would extend the 14 days to color it. What I was mentioning about the iYing wall, this material here, it allows you to scratch it and in the sun turn around and brown it almost at the same time, and it, on a good day like today, beautiful Southern California day, we can color it the same day.
Now when they're saying browning, I mean clearly it's
Browning
the same material.
making a wall, yes.
Right, so we got the scratch coat where you guys put the texture in it, and that's what allows everything to bite.
Yes.
Now if you look at where the scratch coat is, again, that's what has this texture in it. But if you look at how far back that is from the actual edge of the window, then what Mike's doing is now he's building it out to the edge of the window or close to it. And then the color coat, which is, we're gonna be doing white for this obviously, but if you were doing any other type of color on your stucco, that's the color coat, that's the final coat. That is a very, very thin layer as opposed to the amount of mud that they're putting on now.
So once they bring it out to about where the edge of the window is, and once that color coat goes on, it's pretty close to flush with the window. And this process is how he makes my walls that are probably not perfectly straight. This is how he makes them look straight and floats them out.
So just like when we rod and we screed concrete, this is basically that in a vertical form. Now the side that's in the sun is already pretty much going off. I mean, you can see, look at the color difference right there. That is like dry and ready. You'll notice they come back in with their trowels, and you can see there's about a 1/16 to an 1/8 right there. And now that is going to account for the actual color coat that they're going to go put on. The only issue is this front side, being that it's been in the shade all day, it's not quite drying like the other 3 sides are. Now we do have a lot of air and wind blowing, which that does aid very much in getting things to dry, but nothing beats good old-fashioned sunshine. So this side's taking a minute, especially up underneath that lid right there, to tighten up. That is all just pre-mixed, no more sand gets mixed in or anything like that. That is all the stuff straight out of the bags into the mixer, gonna get it blended up, and then we're gonna start seeing this thing take shape real quick. I mean, I already enjoy seeing it right now. No more framing, no more lumber. My whole reason for stuccoing this thing was, number one, I didn't want any exposed lumber, because if there's a fire and an ember lands on exposed lumber, well, now I have a building on fire. Yes, there is exposed lumber on the main house, but this is one less building that I have to worry about. And being that it's so close to the house, I just wanted this to not be any risk of ever catching on fire. And if anything, it's gonna create a nice block if the wind is blowing embers from this way. We'll have this entire stucco structure in the way. The other reason is we've got some pretty gnarly woodpeckers out here, and I'll show you guys the hunting blind in a little bit, but those dang woodpeckers did me dirty on the hunting blind.
That's the wrong shade of white.
Yeah. Ponte, ponte, ponte.
Music, music. Ya la guardé porque no les gusta. Es que eso no es música.
Now you'll see as they're going, they're starting to put the color on now. Then they come back with a like a float sponge, and what we're going for over there is a sand finish. So it's the same finish we did on the guest house walls. What we have on the main house is actually skip trowel. So this you can see is a skip trowel finish. It's a pretty heavy skip trowel. It's very rough, very textured, and it's more old school in my opinion. Some people like skip trowel. I prefer sand finish. To me, it just looks cleaner, and you don't get a bunch of cobwebs. You don't get a bunch of dirt and dust when it starts to blow all the dust and stuff through the property. It collects in all of these ridges. You know, thankfully, they painted the house the color of the dirt, so you don't notice it as much. But my plan is, eventually the entire house is gonna be white, and I'm actually gonna redo all the stucco on the house to a sand finish. I just think it looks more modern. So pre-planning for that, we're gonna do the shed in what finish the house is eventually gonna end up looking like. That way later we're not having to redo the shed. So for a minute, they're not gonna match, but eventually at some point, they will be identical in color and in finish of the stucco. Now on the hunting blind, I used the Hardy Smart Side. So it's basically like a composite. I don't exactly know what the material is, but basically it's like it's almost OSB-ish. But you could probably see it from down here, right there. The old woodpeckers have gone wild on this thing. I actually haven't been up here in a long time, so let's go up and see. And I still need to paint these steps. Alrighty, let's see if anything's made its home in here. Got some moths and stuff, so I also never put a deadbolt on here, so that's how they're getting in. Got my coyote call box there. All right, show you guys how bad. Oh, jeez. Hopefully you guys can see that. That is I hate woodpeckers. Like, they are the bane of my existence. I will no longer do anything in wood out here, or even composite or whatever. They ain't gonna do that in stucco. Now it's at an angle that I can't really see, but I just stuck my finger in there, and you guys probably saw it on camera, but they like went through the 2x4 on the corner of the framing. Those guys are gnarly. It's gonna take a lot of Bondo to fix that, and then we've also now compromised our waterproof layer. I mean, the Bondo will probably be okay, but yeah, I hate woodpeckers. Got our little sneak peek.
Yeah.
Did the window frame survive?
Yeah.
Look at that. Woo!
Get up right now with a little bag. There's black on white.
Look at that, guys. Look how perfect. Look how perfect that little reveal is right there. No weird humps or anything.
Oh, no. Set it back 7/8 total. Set it back about a 1/16 or 1/8 of an inch around the window. That way the color, which is a 16th inch, is supposed to be thick.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Nice. That is exactly the look that I was going for right there. Super modern. You know, you keep saying commercial, which is like, a lot of people don't like that. I love the look of commercial. Like, you know, the neighbors would hate me, but I'd build a strip mall out here and live in it. Yeah, I like that look. Like,
there's a reason why it's commercial. It's clean. It's easily taken care of. You know what I mean?
It lasts forever. It's built to better standards than a lot of things. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, guys. I think this looks super
not
sick.
negative. It's not using a negative content. But yeah, people want custom. Well, commercial is custom. It's just different appearance, you know?
And what I like about commercial is usually the scale of things. Like usually everything's larger when it comes to commercial, and I like that a lot. So my plan was, and when we did the rendering, is this whole soffit eave area is going to be painted black. I didn't realize how easy it would have been for Mike to do it in black. He told me I should have told him he could have just like easily knocked that out first in black and then come do the white down below. But I figured it would have ended up being a 2-day process because you don't want the colors to bleed onto each other. But you know, we can always come back and paint it. It's not the end of the world, and we might end up liking it white by the time this is done. I mean, if we put a big piece of flashing there from the roofers, I don't know. We might get enough black up there to where I don't care, but we'll see. I'm gonna live with it for a minute. With the white underneath there and see if I change my mind or not. Woo, guys, this looks so sick. So the guys are all finishing cleaning up everything right now. Mike's out there spraying off his tarps. I'm gonna give you guys a whole walkthrough in a second. I'm gonna let them get everything cleaned up first though, so we can get like the big reveal, but it is looking exactly like I hoped it would look. I'm so excited about this. Alrighty, y'all, get ready for this. It looks super, super sick. There's gonna be a couple little variations in color because Mike went back and touched up some spots and those are still drying. I contemplated waiting until tomorrow in the sunlight to do the final part, but I can't wait. So let's just show you guys. Boom, here is what the front looks like. Absolutely killer. Obviously it'll look good or better once I paint that little trim around the garage door opening black to match the windows, but I'm glad I went with that little detail. I know that was a very expensive detail. Most people probably wouldn't do that little window detail, but now that you see it all coming together, or at least now that I see it all coming together, I'm glad I did it. That is the exact look that I was going for. This side, obviously this side had no windows. Everybody was kind of wondering why I didn't put windows on this side because of the view, but like you're not hanging out in here for the view, if that makes sense. So I only put windows where I thought it would actually architecturally make the building look better. Hence why on this side, I put the two 2-foot by 4-foot windows. Those don't open. They really serve no function other than they do let a little bit of light in, but I think it just looks cool and modern. And then obviously coming to the back, we have the big 4-foot by 4-foot window. That one actually does open, and that one will serve a purpose to allow airflow through there. And then if you have the garage open, you'll get a bunch of airflow coming through. Beyond stoked with how this turned out. I mean, this is like obviously the biggest change we're gonna see so far in this thing, going from framing to like a finished product. The exterior, other than the roof, is like essentially finished. I do need to redo the paper. That, you know, we did that, what, probably a month ago at this point. It's been through like 7 storms. It is starting to pull up a little bit, so we're gonna redo the roofing paper. We gotta get the roofer scheduled now to do our metal roof trick that we're gonna pull off. I gotta figure out exactly what I wanna do for a garage door. Do I still wanna do a garage door? I've contemplated building like this gnarly custom steel door myself. We still got some thinking to do on that part, but the rest of this place, I mean, oh, I'm so excited, guys, to finally like check this thing off the list. This has been a long project, I know, but this is like essentially building a small house at this point. I mean, every step we're doing is what you would have to do for a house, from the concrete foundation to the framing to the stucco to the electrical to the windows to the roofing. I mean, we just built a little house at this point. Pretty close to. But seeing this just gets me so excited for whenever we're going to do the same treatment to this house. I mean, tell me what looks better. I mean, some of you guys might like this. This is just not my style. To me, clean, crisp, modern, that is my style. Now I gotta run to Home Depot. We gotta pick up a bunch of pipe. We've got that big trench that we dug the other day to run water up to the patio cover. So it's nice to have a day where I can watch other people work, because normally on these projects around here, I'm the one just head down doing all of the work and have to remember to film it. So it was nice just having a crew that knows what they're doing. I mean, these guys just rocked it out. It's typically not ideal to do all of it in one day like they did. Again, Mike mentioned it earlier, you typically want to scratch, then you want to brown coat it, and then you want to wait to let all of that crack first. Then you come back and do the color over top of it. But he just got his little mixture that he does. It's gonna crack, stucco cracks just like concrete. So we're probably gonna get little spider cracks that come off of the windows and whatever. It's just not that big of a deal. It's as long as you don't get major ones, that's the important thing. Huge, huge upgrade. I mean, walking around the corner now and you see this, you're like, whoa, where did that come from? I almost should have like built it differently and made that a pool house now that we have a pool. Like, this thing gives me very modern pool house vibes. But with that, we're gonna wrap up as always. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you're not subscribed already, please click the subscribe button now that you do not miss out on any future content. Don't forget to give this video a like, aka a thumbs up. Don't forget to check out workforapparel.com, because if there's anything you want in this life, you gotta be willing to work for it. A huge thank you to Mike and the crew for knocking this out in 2 days. Y'all are the best. I'm out.
Damn. Yeah.